Timothy Deane Sylvia is a retired American mixed martial arts fighter, professional wrestler, and former two-time Undisputed UFC Heavyweight Champion. He has competed as a super heavyweight and heavyweight. While perhaps best known for competing in the UFC, Sylvia has also competed for Affliction, the International Fighting Championships, and ONE FC. Sylvia was known for his striking abilities and knockout power, with most of his wins coming by way of TKO/KO, and at 6'8", he often used his massive size and reach advantage. He held notable wins over Andrei Arlovski, Ben Rothwell and Brandon Vera. MMA career Martial arts background Sylvia was born and raised in Ellsworth, Maine, attending Ellsworth High School and graduating in 1992. He joined a karate school as a child, and began wrestling in high school. After graduation, he worked construction, community gardening, hanging sheetrock, a bouncer, and painting houses. After high school, he played semi-pro football for 3 years before becoming interested in MMA, and began to train with Marcus Davis, a fellow bouncer. During this time Sylvia decided to take up boxing and grappling. After training for a year, and winning grappling tournaments, he got the opportunity to fight in a Rhode Island no-holds-barred amateur event, in which he knocked out his opponent in 17 seconds. A longtime UFC fan, Sylvia and some friends attended UFC 28 in Atlantic City, New Jersey in 2000. In late 2000 Sylvia sold all of his belongings and moved to Bettendorf, Iowa, to train with Team Miletish, which had members such as former UFC champions Matt Hughes and Jens Pulver. Sylvia was promoted to a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on October 31, 2011. Early professional career Sylvia made his professional MMA debut in 2001 fighting for the IFC. He went on to rack up 13 consecutive wins with 10 knockouts in organizations such as the Hawaii-based Super Brawl, and Extreme Challenge. In 2002, Sylvia signed with the Ultimate Fighting Championship and won a TKO victory over Wesley Cabbage Carrera at UFC 39 when Carrera's corner threw in the towel. Sylvia then went on to defeat Rico Rodriguez at UFC 41, winning the UFC Heavyweight Championship for the first time. Soon after Sylvia defended his title with another quick victory over Gan McGee at UFC 44. Controversy After the fight with McGee, Sylvia tested positive for the banned substance stanozolol. He voluntarily forfeited his title and was handed a 6-month suspension, and fined $10,000 by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. He later commented that the steroid usage was for shedding excess weight. Sylvia apologized and made no effort to claim innocence. Injury At UFC 48 in June 2004, Sylvia returned to face Frank Mir for the vacant UFC Heavyweight Championship. He lost. Early on in the fight Mir trapped Sylvia's right arm in an armor submission attempt. As Sylvia tried to escape the hold, Sylvia's right radius bone snapped about 3 inches below his elbow. Referee Herb Dean immediately stopped the fight and declared Sylvia unable to continue. Sylvia took exception to the decision and repeatedly claimed his arm was not broken, even touching it and moving it around to demonstrate. Sylvia was taken to a local hospital where an X-ray revealed that his arm was in fact broken. He then took several months off to recuperate. Afterward, Sylvia said he was glad the referee stopped the fight, thereby saving his arm from further damage. Return 6 months after his loss to Frank Mir, Sylvia returned to the UFC in February 2005, taking on Andrei Arlovski to crown an interim UFC heavyweight champion as Mir, while still the nominal UFC champion, had suffered numerous injuries from a motorcycle accident that left him unable to defend his title. Sylvia was knocked to the ground by an overhand right punch, and while on the ground was caught in an Achilles lock and submitted. In May 2005, Sylvia defeated Mike Block in the IFC by TKO, then went on to face MMA veteran Tra Teligman at UFC 54. With 1 second left in the first round, Sylvia landed a left head kick which knocked out Teligman. Sylvia made his cable television debut next, fighting Andrei Silva at Ultimate Fight Night 3 on Spike TV, winning a unanimous decision after 3 rounds in a match that was intended to decide the next number 1 contender. Reclaiming the title. At UFC 59, Sylvia was finally awarded his rematch with the then outright champion Andrei Arlovski. During the fight, Sylvia was knocked down via an overhand right by Arlovski, only to immediately stand up and swing back on buckled legs. Within 10 seconds in a turn of events, Sylvia dropped Arlovski with an uppercut, followed by hammer fists that left Arlovski motionless, thus once again taking the UFC heavyweight title. Soon after the match, Sylvia requested, and was given, a rubber match with Arlovski. Their third match took place at UFC 61, this time Sylvia controlled the fight for 5 rounds by utilizing his massive reach and constantly keeping the jab on Arlovski's face, thus keeping him from coming in close. Sylvia won a lopsided unanimous decision and remained the heavyweight champion. Sylvia next fought Mundial's World Jiu-Jitsu champion, 2-time ADCC World Champion and Jiu-Jitsu Pan American Champion Jeff Monson at UFC 65. Billed as a classic striker versus grappler match, Sylvia won again via unanimous decision by keeping the fight on the outside with a jab. The fight showcased Sylvia's growth as a mixed martial artist as he avoided danger from Monson on the ground, and even attempted a triangle choke submission himself. On March 3, 2007, Sylvia lost the UFC Heavyweight Championship to former UFC Light Heavyweight Champion and future UFC Hall of Famer Randy Couture via unanimous decision. The judges all scored the bout 50-45, giving Couture his 5th UFC championship. On October 20, 2007 at UFC 77, Sylvia defeated Brandon Vera via unanimous decision. In the post-fight interview he called out Chi Congo to fight for the spot as number 1 contender for the heavyweight championship belt. On February 2, 2008 Sylvia lost via guillotine choke to Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira at UFC 81 in Las Vegas, Nevada for the interim heavyweight championship. Early in 2008, Sylvia requested and was granted a release from his UFC contract, which still had 1 fight remaining on it. Sylvia cited unhappiness with pay, desire to face Fedor Emelianenko, the non-exclusive contracts of other organizations, and the opportunity to fight more often as his reasons for leaving. Post-UFC On March 28, 2008, Sylvia signed with Adrenaline MMA, formerly M1 Global, to a 2-year contract that allowed him to fight for other organizations while under contract with Adrenaline. A few weeks later he was offered to fight Fedor Emelianenko at Affliction Clothing's inaugural event Affliction, Banned. The fight took place on July 19, 2008, and saw the former Pride heavyweight champion dropping Sylvia and taking his back before securing a rear naked choke, forcing Sylvia to submit at 0:36 of the first round. On February 25, 2009, Sylvia's manager Monty Cox announced that Sylvia would face former boxing world heavyweight champion and 1988 Olympic gold medalist Ray Mercer in a boxing main event at Adrenaline MMA 3 on May 30, 2009, at the Trump Taj Mahal Casino Resort in Atlantic City. However, after the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board refused to sanction the fight, the event was moved to Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center in Birmingham, Alabama and rescheduled to June 13. Only days before the bout, it was changed to be contested under MMA rules, again because of sanctioning problems. When they finally met, Mercer knocked Sylvia out with a single punch 9 seconds into the first round. Sylvia weighed in at 310.6 pounds for the super heavyweight fight. Before his bout with Mercer, Sylvia was scheduled to face Paul Berntello at Affliction, Trilogy. But after the devastating KO loss, Cox and Affliction decided it would be best for Sylvia to sit out the next few months, because of his recent losses. After Affliction folded, Sylvia defeated Jason Riley via TKO 232 into the first round at the Adrenaline 4 main event on September 18, 2009 in Council Bluffs, Iowa. It was later revealed through Sherdog.com that Sylvia broke his right hand about a minute and a half into his fight with Riley, spoiling a debut with a Japanese promotion Dream, planned for October 25. Sylvia's next fight was expected to be a rematch with the Ultimate Fighter alumni Wee Sims on March 20 in Ohio. However, the Ohio State Athletic Commission refused to sanction the bout, saying that the fight was non-competitive, resulting in the bout being rescheduled to June 6, 2010, in Nova Scotia, Canada, for the IFC Super Heavyweight title. In the meantime, Sylvia fought five-time World's Strongest Man Mariusz Pudzianowski at Musin, God of Martial Arts on May 21, 2010, winning by submission. The Sims fight was scuttled again, when it was discovered that Sylvia broke his foot at Musin. Sylvia defeated Paul Bertello by knockout due to an uppercut at Powerhouse World Promotions, War on the Mainland on August 14. As heavyweight fighter Pedro Rizzo entered the ring during the post-fight interview, Powerhouse World Promotions announced Sylvia would make his first title defense against the fellow UFC veteran. The fight never occurred, however, as PWP disappeared after this inaugural event. Sylvia fought Vince Lucero at CFX Extreme Challenge on December 11. Sylvia won the fight by submission due to punches. Titan Fighting Championship, Sylvia fought Abe Wagner at Titan Fighting Championship 16. Sylvia weighed in at 311 pounds and was defeated 32 seconds into the first round, ending his four-fight win streak. The super heavyweight matchup served as the main event of Friday night's HDNET broadcast event, which took place at Memorial Hall in Kansas City, CAN. Wagner's speed advantage was evident in the opening seconds, and he looked to pepper Sylvia with strikes on multiple levels as he retreated and stayed away from his opponent's length. Then a right hand brought about the beginning of the end. Wagner caught Sylvia on the temple, and the former UFC champ was visibly staggered. As the maniac tried to recover, Wagner went on the assault with jackhammer punches that chased Sylvia across the cage. Sylvia avoided the shots as he retreated, but once he reached a cage, Wagner landed a four-punch combination that saw his opponent slump to the canvas. Referee Jason Herzog wasted little time in rushing in to call the fight, and the decision was justified when Sylvia stumbled as he returned to his feet. The entire process took just 32 seconds. Fighter Sylvia was originally scheduled to face Shane Adams on August 13 at a Fight Tour event at the Rockford Metro Center in Rockford, Illinois. But due to a scheduling conflict with the Athletic Commission, the event will now take place on August 20. Sylvia was then scheduled to face Brian Hedden at the August 20 Fight Tour event because the Illinois Athletic Commission would not approve the fight between Adams and Sylvia. However, the bout between Sylvia and Hedden was later scrapped for unknown reasons, and Sylvia would now face submission specialist Patrick Barentine. Sylvia defeated Barentine via TKO in the first round. Sylvia weighed in at 280.5 pounds for the bout, 30 pounds lighter than his previous bout against Wagner. Pro Elite Sylvia was expected to take on Pedro Rizzo at Pro Elite 2 on November 5, however Rizzo later pulled out of the bout due to injury. Sylvia instead competed against German heavyweight Andreas Kraniatakes and won the fight via unanimous decision. New England Fights Sylvia fought against Randy Smith at NEF Fight Night 3 on June 16 in his home state of Maine. Sylvia defeated Smith in 12 seconds via TKO. One Championship In mid-July 2012, it was announced that Tim Sylvia had signed with the Asia-based promotion One Championship. The promotion quickly announced that Sylvia would face Andrei Arlovski in his debut, marking the fourth time the two fighters had faced each other. Sylvia and Arlovski faced off at One Fighting Championship, Pride of a Nation on August 31, 2012 in Manila. The fight between Tim Sylvia and Andrei Arlovski ended in a no contest due to an illegal soccer kick by Andrei Arlovski. According to ONE FC rules at the time, soccer kicks are legal only if the referee clears the fighter to do so after determining the grounded fighter can still intelligently defend himself. Arlovski received no such clearance. The kick was deemed illegal. 4 days later, ONE FC eliminated the clearance restriction. On May 31, 2013, Sylvia fought Tony Johnson at ONE FC 9, Rise to Power. Sylvia lost by TKO on 3:25 of the third round. Inoki Genome Federation Sylvia fought Satoshi Ishii at Inoki Bombayi and lost by unanimous decision. Fight Nights Sylvia fought Jestan prospect Rulan Magomedov at Fight Nights, Battle of the Moscow 13 and lost by unanimous decision. Retirement Sylvia was scheduled to face Giuliano Coutinho at Reality Fighting on January 3, 2015, however Sylvia was denied medical clearance by the Mugon Athletic Unit, and as a result the fight was cancelled. Sylvia weighed in at 371 pounds for the fight. When asked why the fight was cancelled, Monty Cox, Sylvia unregistered trademark S manager, wrote on Facebook not 100% sure. Because of his age he had to do a lot of meds at last minute, Cox wrote. And all he needed a stress test, MRI, EKG, eye, blood and physical. Apparently all the tests ordered by the Mugen Commission have made a significant impact on Sylvia unregistered trademark S bank account, as he wrote on Cox unregistered trademark S Facebook thread that he is $2,000 in the hole because of all the tests I had to do. After the cancelled fight, Sylvia announced his retirement from MMA. He appeared in the cage alongside his proposed opponent and said an MRI issue prevented him from competing. This is the end of my career, Sylvia said at Mugen Sun Arena, adding, they said that unregistered trademark they received enough damage over 16 years. Professional wrestling career. On September 25, 2010, Sylvia made his pro wrestling debut, losing via submission to fellow mixed martial artist Josh Barnett, at IGF's Genome 13 event. A grassroots Twitter campaign started on August 1, 2013 for Total Nonstop Action Wrestling president Dixie Carter to sign Sylvia and add him to the TNA ranks. Sylvia himself endorsed the campaign by retweeting it to his Twitter followers. Personal life. Sylvia has confirmed that he is a police officer in the state of Illinois on a part-time basis. Being a police officer is something Sylvia has always aspired to do. He is married and has a son. Championships and accomplishments. Mixed martial arts Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC Heavyweight Championship, Fight of the Night, tied for most successful heavyweight title defenses, tied for most consecutive heavyweight title defenses. Powerhouse World Promotions, PWP Heavyweight Championship. International Sport Karate Association, ISKA MMA Super Heavyweight Championship. Icon Sport, Super Brawl Return of the Heavyweights Tournament winner. Extreme Challenge 47 Heavyweight Tournament winner. Mixed Martial Arts Record. See also, List of male mixed martial artists, List of sportspeople sanctioned for doping offenses. References. External links, official website, professional MMA record for Tim Sylvia from Sherdog, Tim Sylvia on UFC.com.